Meanwhile, in Cleveland, quarterback Baker Mayfield, who exited Sunday's loss to the Patriots with a knee contusion, Kevin Stefanski, coach of the team, said recently that Mayfield could have actually continued, but it was 45-7 or close to it at that point. There's no reason to put him back out on the field when he's already banged up. Mayfield said today he's probably the most beat up that he's ever been. We go all the way back to week 2, the tackle he made after a turnover against the Texans, left shoulder messed up. You can see the harness. You know, I'm trying to conceal it anymore. The harness is visible that's holding his left shoulder in a spot where it makes it less difficult for him to throw the football. But he hasn't been good this year. The Browns are disappointing and underachieving at 5-5. They've got the Lions coming to town, which is good news. The 0-8-1 Lions with Tim Boyle at quarterback, most likely instead of Jared Goff, because Goff has an injury or an injury, as the case may be. We know that Mayfield has an injury. Well, would it be that crazy to think that Jared Goff isn't really injured, but they want to try someone else without starting this revolving door? We benched Jared Goff. Oh, no, we didn't bench Jared Goff. He's just injured. And then if Tim Boyle stinks, Jared Goff is healthy to play on Thanksgiving, the one game a year that anyone gives a crap about the Lions. That's not high-end conspiracy Mike stuff. I think that's low-hanging fruit.
I know it's not tinfoil hat Mike stuff, and I realize this also is not what we're supposed to be talking about, but having covered Jared Goff for the time I have, that's not necessarily something that Goff is going to want to. Goff really takes a lot of pride in being available, and there was a quote a while ago that said he didn't want to be, considered soft by anybody's standards. So today he was saying that it's more about functionality. If he can actually fire the ball with any velocity off the oblique, then yeah, he wants to be playing. So I don't want to go there with they're benching. If they're going to bench Jared Goff.
Did he also say he was immunized today? Did he also say he was immunized today? Look,
no, he did not. But I don't know. I don't want to do that to Jared Goff. I don't.
Well,
but if the Lions just bench him.
Well, but this is a way to do it in a manner that saves face for him, and it avoids this perception that they don't know what they're doing, as if the 0-8-1 record didn't already.
Come on, yeah, there we go.
Confirm that. But at least, even though winless, they still are a functional football organization, and we're not benching Jared Goff and seeing what Tim Boyle can do before we say, oh, crap, we can't trust this guy either. Let's go back to Goff. I think it's not out of the question that they're looking for a soft landing from the Jared Goff era. I'm still confused. They knew that they were taking Goff off the Rams' hands and getting a first-round pick specifically to take Goff, and then he becomes their franchise quarterback. I don't know why they expected anything different than what they've gotten, frankly. Back to Mayfield. Back to your Cleveland Browns instead of your buddy Jared Goff. He's Cleveland Browns.
Buddy. He's just a former colleague. All right. Okay. Just keep going with what you're saying.
You and I eventually will be former colleagues too at this rate.
Well, yeah. So once he died, but we're not a Friday closer to death yet. So
Myles is injured on Friday. We're bringing in Tim Boyle to co-host. Anyway, is Baker Mayfield, in your mind, the future of the Browns?
Oh, boy. It's interesting. I mean, you've brought this up about the whole Mayfield contract thing, right? He's clearly not a quarterback that should be paid $40 million a year for the next however many years, right? I think that we have established that by now. He's just far too inconsistent for the Browns to invest in him like that. But I think the Browns last week showed us the way that they want to construct their team from the front lines and back, right? They have now two really high-paid guards. They have a very high-paid center. They just drafted Jedrick Wills last year as their left tackle. You know that they're wanting to build this thing as a running team, like the old days of the AFC Central before the Browns moved and they've got Mack and Biner and all these different things. That's the way the Browns want to play. So if you have that, then what does that mean for the QB position? Well, if you pay Mayfield, can you get him to take a second-tier quarterback contract, which is not really something that exists right now at this point? But I feel like if you can get him to do that, where you're not paying him 40 mil, but maybe you were saying something like between 25 and 30, then yeah, he can be, because he's the best Browns quarterback that's basically been there in my lifetime, right? I mean, he is now the most winningest quarterback at Cleveland Browns Stadium or First Energy Stadium, whatever they call it, when it was Ben Roethlisberger before. Okay. So that means something. However, if in the offseason you can get one of these guys like an Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson to be interested in your franchise, then that's where you do what the Rams did, right? And you say, well, you're a quarterback right now, but if we can upgrade and it's a clear upgrade, then we got to at least explore that. And, Baker Mayfield is going to be PO'd for all of eternity. And who knows what they do with those progressive commercials, because those are really good commercials. But I feel like the Browns are in a position where if you can get Mayfield to take a second tier contract, yeah, all right. But if you can get one of the top tier QBs, you've got to at least explore that.
Well, especially because, and since we already detoured to the Lions, let's detour to the team the Lions tied this past weekend. Sims and I were kicking around today the very strong possibility that the Steelers, if Ben Roethlisberger is gone after this season, won't go draft a guy and hope that they can develop a guy quickly. They become a very attractive franchise for a veteran quarterback looking to stack the deck in his favor. Great defense. Emerging running threat in Najee Harris, great group of receivers, excellent head coach, great fan base, just add quarterback, and you got a Super Bowl championship contender. So if the Steelers are going to be in the mix, the Browns better think about getting in the mix too, because if you can attract Russell Wilson to you or Aaron Rodgers to you, the net gain is we get him and they don't.
Yep.
Which is a huge difference if you can be the one to win that tug of war between the Steelers and the Browns. So it's something to keep an eye on. And look, they got Mayfield under contract for one more year at $18.5 million.
Making eyes at each other too.
Oh, I know. I know.
That.
And Mayfield's under contract for one more year at $18.5 million, fully guaranteed, just like Sam Darnold. And we know what the Panthers are going to do with Sam Darnold. So I think that depending upon what happens these next 7 games for the 5-5 Browns, some important chapters are going to be written in the future of Baker Mayfield as a member of the team.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.